Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun,
Sam was the first guy to make the jump from professional tennis to pickleball, but I think Jack, we would say, has made the biggest splash. Probably the best player right now that has fully come over from pro tennis to pro pickleball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So Sam tells you, "Hey, I'm going to go try this pro pickleball thing." I imagine there was some maybe at least a smirk. But
I thought he was joking. Like I legitimately thought
okay.
You're full of shit, dude. Like, no, like what? Like actually? And he said, no, I'm trying to get a contract.
So did you overestimate or underestimate his success in Major League Pickleball and on tour? When you heard him say he was going to go for it, where would you have guessed?
Overestimate. I probably overestimated it. I thought maybe his level would be. He's very good at pickleball, but like there are levels, right? Like Sam's probably better than I am, but at the same time, like I'm not trying to go pro at pickleball. So like he's doing it and he's getting beat up week in and week out. He's sort of became a punching bag on the pro pickleball tour, but he takes it in stride, which is great. He always tells me he gets really bad draws. He's just a victim of circumstance.
Yes,
so
of course.
You know what? Like he's underachieved, or maybe he's just achieved like actually what his level is, which is really not that good. But maybe a 39-year-old coming off an Achilles tear. Maybe he can do some big things after that. His stock's very, very low right now. That's for sure. I might be buying a little Querrey stock.
Yeah, right. You're buying. That's good.
Yeah, I'm buying the 38, 39-year-old coming off a serious injury. So we'll see what he can do. He's committed to playing it out. That's for sure.
This is lots of clips for your Nothing Major podcast, which I'm super about.
Yeah, we're in the podcast world now. It's mostly tennis, but there's a little bit of making fun of Sam on the pickleball court as well. I think that was one of our first episodes, and Sam's great. He takes it in stride. He doesn't take things too seriously, which is what makes it it's fun to make fun of him about because he can laugh at it.
Yeah, he brought plenty of on himself in pickleball too, and he seems to be like
totally
leaning into it.
Totally, but like he sold people like false bill of goods initially, and some teams bought it, the number one pick in the challenger draft and all this stuff, sending in sizzle reels of his highlights. And he has a big name coming from tennis, but I also think he's a little bit too tall to be good at pickleball. For me, it's like you can't be taller than 6'5", and he is. And I'm way taller than that. And it's just being a super tall dude is not conducive to playing high-level pickleball, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That was one of the things on our agenda. As a short king, I'm convinced that that being tall is an advantage, but I do think there's diminishing returns at a certain point, right? So you seem to think, what is Sam, 6'7", 6'8"?
He's 6'6".
6'6"?
Yeah,
okay.
So he's right borderline.
10, right?
Yeah.
10. Like, you think Sam is a little too tall? You think you're definitely too tall?
I think so. For me, it's 6'5". I think the being behind the kitchen line and bending is tough on the back. The movement, the side to side movement, and when you're in a dink battle and stuff. But I think most importantly, or the biggest prohibitor of playing good pickleball for a tall guy is those speed ups. When you have long arms, it's hard to get out of the way, and you're in close contact, kitchen to kitchen. That's where the good players just wreck me all day long. They'll speed it up on me, and I have a hard time getting out of the way because my arms are so long. The dinking is okay. I can do it, hang in there decently, but the speed ups are very, very tough for the big guys, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So you think it's primarily like getting down for some of those dinks, bending over at the kitchen, and then getting out of the way of speed-ups.
Yeah, like the dink battles. If I'm playing against someone good, like I have no confidence in that dink battle. I think eventually they're going to dink one too low, and I'm going to leave one hanging because I'm not bending the right way. I'm not getting to the ball like a shorter guy could. But I think most importantly, it's those hands battles that are tough for me to get out of the way. Even if when I try to start one and they redirect it back to me, like I'm cooked. Like it's just hard having such long arms. It's just so much going on. It's just hard to get out of the way.
True. Yeah, I'd say that the guy who makes it work the best with the fastest hands as a big guy is Deckel. And what is he, like 6'3", maybe 6'4"?
Yeah, he's more like big, like kind of strong, big, like kind of heavier set big. He's not like fat, right? But like, you know what I'm saying? He's not like super tall. But right, like I mean, I think he's a good size and shape for pickleball. He's like a strong dude, pretty tall, not like crazy tall like myself, and so he makes it work.
Yeah, I just wonder, if the increased reach outweighs the
Yeah.
potentially slower hands to cover the body, right? Because if I'm playing against some of the people who use their height the best,
Mm-hmm.
like Deckel, or somebody like Jeff Warnick, who you might not know, some of these very tall guys,
Yeah.
you can reach in so well to flick the ball. And then if I'm trying to keep it away from you and make it bounce, it's such a dead dink with nothing on it that it's tough to. You're never going to miss it as a result of it.
Yeah, like that's the one I guess advantage that tall guys do have is like you play enough, get comfortable enough of taking that balls out of the air that like your opponents would not expect you to do. So when I'm, playing recreational pickleball in Dallas and playing my best, that's what I'm doing. I'm right behind the kitchen line, of course, and taking balls out of the air that players are not going to expect because I have a good 8-10 more inches of reach than most people.
For sure. So what would you say? What would you think is the ideal height for a pickleball player? If you're just creating one from scratch, like
Yeah.
FIFA create a player, like what are you doing?
I'm going like 6'2", someone that can still move around the court very, very well. It's got some good reach. Maybe like 6'2" with like a 6'4" wingspan. If I'm gonna
Okay.
create the perfect pickleball player, I think that's a good height for tennis as well. So I think they kind of like pretty similar there.
Interesting. Yeah, gotcha. We can always point to like the athletic freaks, right? Like a Daniil Medvedev type
Totally.
of player, right?
Yeah,
Like
well, he's a little bit of an outlier because he's like every bit of 6'6", but like an
Right.
incredible mover and like these like some of those guys. But yeah, those are absolute freaks, right? They could, where most guys 6'6", 6'7", yes, they move very well for their size, but he moves like exceptionally well, like so well, like you haven't seen it before.
Right.
Someone at that height, and the game of tennis is certainly, it's changed a lot. Where you got to be a top mover if you want to be top 10 in the world.
For sure. Well, my personal theory on where pickleball is headed is I think we're going to see less of the middle height type of guys. Like, I guess I probably wouldn't even really put myself in middle height. I'm more of the short guy, but like I think we're going to have small guys and big guys, and the middle is going to be kind of gone because the middle is just doesn't do anything special. I think small guys are just going to try and hit the big guys, and big guys are going to be in there reaching.
There hasn't really been much of a conversation around height and how it impacts right side versus left side, like, and what the optimal like collective height would be. Like, should there be left side player 6'5", right side player is some short, quick handed guy who just plays his 30% of the court or whatever it is. And we learned that that's like the optimal strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really.
I've never heard anybody talk about
it. It could be. Yeah, I mean, look, like I would love to see someone. Maybe it's Sam Querrey after he recovers from surgery. Maybe he'd love to see like a 6'7", 6'8" guy like do really well in pickleball. I just think it's really challenging. I don't care singles, doubles, mixed doubles, whatever it is. I find it very, very difficult if you want to compete with the best guys when you got a lot going on, especially with your wingspan. So it makes it hard.
Okay, so Proton pulled a fast one on me. They invited us and a bunch of other creators out to their headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. I played with the Proton that day. That was maybe like 2 months ago, and I have not stopped playing with it since. So I've obviously tried a ton of paddles. The Proton, to me, it's just different. They say a lot about the durability, the fact that like Andre Deescu was using it for like 3 months in a row, which is unheard of, especially for pros who are changing their paddles like every day. But you just don't have to replace these things. The longevity, the grit, the structure of the paddle, it just holds up. They have crazy pop, insane control. So Proton seems to be one of those brands that came out of nowhere in the past year, and now they're one of the most popular paddles, selling out constantly. I just mentioned that Andre Deescu plays with them, but Caitlin Christian, Donald Young, Travis Rettenmeyer, CJ Klinger, the list goes on. All these pros are dominating the courts with paddles that leverage carbon fiber technology from baseball bats for exceptional sound and spin. Following the quick sellout of their Series 1, Proton Series 2 paddles are now on the scene, claimed to be the softest on the market, providing top-notch control and great feel, winning a lot of medals at PPA events at the 3.0 and 4.0 level. Find Proton paddles exclusively through Pickleball Central. Use our code PRO-THE-DINK to save $25 on your Proton paddle from pickleballcentral.com. That's all caps PRO-THEDINK for $25 off.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie,